Hello fellow Scrubs, and welcome to a special episode of Joe's Corner. I'm Joe, and this is my corner. And this is Colin. You're of another fellow Scrub. So today I want to talk to Colin about how his deck did, how he liked the Austin ARG, how he did, stuff like that. Colin was lucky enough, he just barely missed the top 8. He got 17th out of 19 people. It's pretty impressive. I was very impressed with your results. So let's just jump right into this interview. We're going to be doing this kind of interview style, Colin. So tell me, what were some of the strengths and weaknesses of your deck?
I'd say the biggest strength of it is it was very consistent in that I was able to draw a stone almost every single turn, almost without fail, except of course when I deactivate, and that made it a little less consistent. Probably the biggest weakness was most decks that involved doing damage to your opponent. Those ended up getting rid of my life points at some point during the game.
Terrible. but seriously, let's get into some let's get serious now. So I think you're running a Mars deck, right?
Yeah, so I saw a thing on online of someone, they were talking about a Mars deck they had played against that had done a lot of damage extremely quickly. They just J-activated to 2,000 damage from the Invitation to Disaster with Awakening and swung and almost was able to do an instant turn kill. So I wanted to replicate that, but at the same time, there's rumors that Thief Scene was going to be a big problem, so I was trying to do that while also creating a counter to Thief Scene. And so sort of got this sort of interesting deck put together.
So did your deck maybe feel a little bloated? You maybe tried to have too many answers to different things?
Not necessarily. I feel like the answers, if I had gone against those types of decks, especially Resonator heavy decks, it might have done decent, but it does I found out it does pretty not good against most decks that are not that. That combined with turns out I'm not very good at remembering to do stuff.
Oh, I think that's a lot of Scrubs have that problem. I have that problem. You just miss triggers. You misplay.
Yeah.
I understand, buddy. I understand.
It's hard.
So, what kind of decks did you face? Like, what was really good? What was bad?
There's a lot of interesting decks actually. I like the variety. It's there's everything from, I went against a zero deck that is basically just a zero deck with Knights of the Round Table, which was pretty interesting. I went against a deck that was pretty interesting. It had I forget the name of it, the fairy that can block even when it's rusted, and what the guy did is he just put that fairy out, attached a flak jacket so it doesn't take damage, and then attached the addition that gives it +8/+8, so he had a 1,000 damage Resonator that doesn't take damage and can infinitely block. And so my deck doesn't run any removals, so that was super interesting.
And it has flying, so
it also has flying.
Only Jared is flying can block it.
Yeah. Yeah, I for some reason missed that, and I had flying Resonators I wasn't blocking with, which was more of my bad. But that was an interesting deck. I ran against a deck that ran Charlotte with complete red cards and all that, Thunders and all that. And they ran Cheshire so that they could discard Prisha, give her swiftness, target attack, first strike, and give her a buff. And they would do that during each turn so that they were had a pretty hard swinging Cheshire pretty quickly actually.
Yeah.
And that was pretty interesting because I haven't gone against a Cheshire deck, so there's a healthy variety of decks. I never went against the same deck twice.
I was very surprised too. I feel like a lot of the lists that we're seeing, pop up. There's a lot of different J rulers, a lot of tree lists, really interesting stuff. So what can you run me through what some kind of good plays you did, or how the deck ran? When you did win, what how fast did you win? How did you get that damage through?
The ideal scenarios in which I won was when the deck didn't do necessarily what I planned it to do, but mainly I ran Lancelots, so I would put out Lancelots and attach a blood-covered War Axe to them, and just doing that and be able to swing 4,000, doing 700 damage to Resonator plus 200 to the board, turned out to be extremely effective, and that's how I won one of my rounds, was just repeatedly doing that. One of the ways I was not able to win the round, but win matches is when a couple times when I actually did the combo correctly, which is being able to turn 2, so with only one stone out, you J-activate with Mars, and I was able to discard a demon, Invitation to Disaster, then with Awakening for 2,000, and have a Levitating out, so I'm able to swing for the at least 12 to 1,400, and then next turn I can just Lightning Strike them to death, or something along those lines. And so the couple times when the deck did work, it either didn't do what I was intended, or it got that rare combination that is actually really hard to get, it turns out.
If you're going to redo this ARG, would you run a different deck, or maybe change the deck up a little bit to face wider threats, wider deck threats?
I feel like, yeah, I would definitely. I had sideboarded Sylvia with a couple different cards, and I feel like if I did it again, I would either make it so it's purely Sylvia and just switch out more of the cards, so it was more just a pure, Lancelot, quick damage and swing in for Sylvia for the final count type of deck, or use. I had 2 other decks I was building that I scrapped when I thought Feasting was going to be a big problem, but I had a Dark Alice and a Million deck, and I feel like I would have preferred to run one of those over my Mars deck at the end of the day. But overall, it was a lot of fun. Even though I lost pretty much all my games, it was nice seeing so many players playing Force of Will, and a huge variety of decks. I think the most at our ARG was there was 3 of the same ruler, and that was the most we had, which was
0.
I think it was 0. And outside of that, almost everyone had their own ruler with their own type of deck that I hadn't seen, and it was pretty interesting, and I got a lot of interesting ideas out of it.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Well, thank you, Colin, for this interview. Very insightful. We'll see you guys around the corner.
And action.
No, I'm getting ready. I'm psyching myself up, Hello. Why?
Can you take like 10 minutes?
Okay.
Fucking psych yourself up. Recording. Shh.
Are you sure it's recording?
It's recording.
Is that
Yes.
the red dot?
There's a red dot. I see the red dot. Go.
Am I so patient?
Colin, you're too high.
Okay.
It's recording.
I know. I'm getting ready. Gosh. So you're gonna say this at the same time, like, hello, fellow scrubs.
It's gonna be 10
No,
minutes by
no,
the time you guys are ready.
Here's what I was.
I'm gonna stop it.
Is you go.